Coming to you live from deep in the heart of Texas, it's Midweek Marketing with your host, Timothy Black. Each week, Tim will be diving into what it takes to market successfully online, SEO, design, affiliate marketing, and more. And now, here's your host, Timothy Black.
Hello and welcome to Midweek Marketing. This is your host, Timothy Black, and this is episode 9. We're going to be talking about reputation management this time. But first, if you've not done so, please subscribe to us on iTunes or Stitcher or SoundCloud or whatever your favorite podcastery place is. And also check us out on Facebook.com. I'm sure you've all heard of that. Facebook.com/Midweek Marketing. Anyway, on to this week's topic. It is reputation management. Kind of obvious what it is, but that's the term that is used in the marketing world to talk about people's, pretty much their reviews online, their online reputation. And reputation management is yet another service you can provide. Sometimes you'll get phone calls from people, or, well, once you start an agency, or you put it out there that you help with internet marketing, a lot of times this is a big challenge and problem for a lot of businesses. They've gotten some bad reviews, they can't get around it. And they need help with that. And fortunately, there is a way to help most of these businesses, but not all. I've got a couple of stories for you. And one of them was beyond help, and one was very easy to help. So I'll talk about those here in a minute. So, and you can sort of manipulate it, but you have to tread this lightly. It's like SEO. You've got to kind of tread lightly. So that's what it is. It's essentially reviews online at places like Facebook. Yelp is the big one. Google is a big one. TripAdvisor, Angie's List, if it's somebody that does like home repair stuff. There's a thing called House, which people in the like real estate, home improvement area use. There's all kinds of places, and people tend to kind of self-select places they like to review. Anyway, so I'll tell you. Well, here are the main places. The main places, like I said, are Yelp and Google. Facebook doesn't matter nearly as much. People think it does, but for some reason, Facebook just doesn't really pop up in search results for their reviews. You kind of have to make a concerted effort within the Facebook ecosystem to even kind of see reviews. And they're terrible, because what'll happen is you'll get into flame wars on there. Somebody had a bad time and they ask all their friends to come do it. There's just no vetting of it. And there's no, they don't do what Yelp does, which I'll explain in a minute. Yelp is obviously the king of online reviews. And you don't want to get on their bad side, because it will actually hurt your business. But on the other hand, it will really help your business too if you've got a decent Yelp following and review. So just to give you a quick story, there's a law firm I work with, great clients, and they smoked somebody in court. I mean, they absolutely crushed the other side. They did their job. They won for their client. And within a day, their Facebook page got lit up with all these negative reviews, like tons and tons and tons. Like, well, not tons, but like 3 or 4 dozen came in quick. And they were all, 1 star. These people are mean. They're terrible, blah, blah, blah. Well, it doesn't really take a genius to see that half the people, and this is why Facebook can do a better job. It doesn't really take a genius to see, if you would have looked at these reviews and their 1-star rating, that all these people have the same last name. They're all relatives of the person who lost in court, and they were all friends with each other. So Facebook, unfortunately, as of right now, this may change, but Facebook doesn't really have a way to kind of mute those kind of obviously shoddy reviews. I mean, you've never used the service, or you've never been to that restaurant. A lot of times you'll have political things come up, and people will light up restaurants page with bad reviews, like, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of reviews from around the country. And like, you've obviously never stepped into this place in whatever, Montana. For right now, Facebook is not great for a couple reasons. Doesn't matter because people don't see it. Number 2, they have no algorithm in place or no way to suppress it. And that's actually the good and bad part of Yelp. So I'm going to move on to Yelp now. Yelp is actually the king. And then right behind it is Google, because Google obviously shows itself first on a Google rank. So if you search for somebody's business, in this case, you were to look for my client's law firm, first thing that comes up is their website, obviously. And the second thing that comes up is their Yelp. And then off to the side in the rich display where the map is, you'll see the Google reviews. That's like 4.9 or whatever. So Yelp is much better, and you've got to kind of coax it and do it correctly. So if you decide to do this for a client, or you take it on and say, yeah, I can help you it'll be a few $100 a month to kind of help get you more good reviews. Like say they've gotten a 3-star review or their average is 3 stars and it's on 20 or 30 reviews. That's going to take a lot of effort to get that to 4 because you've got to, I don't need to explain math to you, but you have to get a lot to go from 3 to 4 on 50 reviews. It's going to take a lot of effort. But if they've never done it or they have like 1 bad review, well, it doesn't take much to get 3 or 4 good reviews to make it like a 4.5, etc. But the thing about Yelp is you can't just go in there and blast it with reviews. Yelp, and this is what people forget about Yelp. Yelp is first and foremost a social network. You've got friends on there. If you're an active Yelper, you've got people you look at, and people are going to thumb up, and they call your rating useful or funny, and you've seen all these things. And so because of that, you can't just go in there one day, register, write 1 review, and then never go back. They will absolutely suppress that review within a couple weeks. Now, you'll see businesses get kind of upset because they say that Yelp suppresses their good reviews. Well, they do. But they also suppress bad reviews because they look at them and go, well, these are BS. Like all these 5-star reviews that came in one day from people who've never used our services before, these are BS. They're like the owner's own friends doing it. Or on the other hand, if they're getting lit up with 0, ones and all that kind of stuff, that's obviously people that are competitors or people that are pissed or had all their friends sign up, which is actually kind of hard to do. It was way easier to do on Facebook, and that's what happened with my friends, or not my friends, my clients' law firm. They had all their friends leave the bad reviews because it's a low barrier entry. You just go over there, click 1 star and say this place sucks, or you don't even say anything at all. You can't do that on Yelp. Yelp wants at least a couple sentences. You just can't go 5 stars, this sucks, or 1 star, this sucks, 5 stars, this is awesome. They call BS on that. So they're constantly kind of scrubbing their reviews. To their credit, I kind of hate Yelp because they're really pushy and they try to sell services to people, and they're massively expensive and it's not really worth it. But they're really helpful to businesses because people look at Yelp reviews. There's no way around it. They look at Yelp reviews. So it only takes a few good ones, and this is how you do it. You can pay services. It's a little sketchy, Fiverr and places like that. You can go out there and get reviews written, but they have to be from people who are actually Yelpers. It can't be the person that signs up today and leaves a good or a bad review. It has to be somebody who's a Yelper. They have 4 or 5 friends. They've left half dozen reviews at least. They've been on there for a year or 2. Those are the reviews that are going to stick. And conversely, if somebody does go and leave a bad review, they sign up on Yelp for the sole purpose of leaving a bad review, well, that will disappear in a little while. But if they become active, like 6 months from now they've got a bunch of friends and they got a lot of thumbs up on their reviews. They've done several reviews. Well, that is going to come out of the depths and resurface. So, and the way you do it for businesses is you can reach out to their customer base. This is the best way to do it. And you go, hey, we'd love to have a review from you. You can email people like past clients, happy clients, and say something like, hey, we're helping do some marketing for this particular company X, and we would love if you could leave us a review online. You don't even tell them where to go because people will self-select, okay? You say, hey, we'd love to get a review, and if it's anything less than 5 stars, please let us know, and we'll help fix the problem if something went wrong. So that way you're subtly asking for a review, right? A 5-star review. And you're not telling them where to go. You just say, leave us an online review, because people will go, and wherever they go, they're either Facebookers or Yelpers or Google. What you want are Yelpers and Google. Works really, really well. And there's other places. Like I said, TripAdvisor. Some people are TripAdvisor people. I've got a friend that has the #1 TripAdvisor review for some Bahamas, Nassau place, which he tore him up. And they've begged him to take it down, this one particular resort, and he won't do it because he had a terrible time there. Anyway, it hurts their business. So rep management's a big deal, and you can really help people. Once again, you just ask for an online review and you let them self-select. If you have a Yelp, when you can tell people, I've told people that I've done rep management for, if you've got a Yelp account, we'd love for you, and you're an active Yelper, we'd love for you to go and leave us a review. That'd be really helpful. And people are usually cool to do it. And also, they're cool to do it, but not everybody's going to do it. But like I said, all you need is a few. So what happened with this lawyer client is a lot of their a lot of their clients kind of came to their rescue and gave them a bunch of good reviews. And so it's pretty even now on Facebook. It's like 3 stars now. But the thing is, you have to dig to even find that. And anybody with half a brain that would actually read those reviews can see pretty clearly that the person who started it got whipped in court, and that all the people that are coming to that person's aid all have the same last name, and they're all friends. It's really not hard to figure out. But they actually just got a new client because their Yelp reviews were so good. And they only had a few. But like I said, when you look up XYZ lawyer, up pops theirs. You see the Google off to the right, 4.9, and then you see their Yelp, which is 5 stars. And only a few reviews, but those are good, sticky reviews. So that's kind of the basics of how to get reputation management. And a lot of people don't have time to do it. They don't really realize how it works. They panic over something like one bad review. These clients I talked about, my lawyer clients, they really did freak out. I was saying, no, don't worry. And the other thing about Facebook is you can just mute the reviews. You can just turn them off. It's your page. They're leaving it on your business page. You can just mute it if you want. I said, leave it as is. It actually kind of helps show people that you win cases in court and you beat them so bad that all their family comes out. It's kind of rough, but hey, that's how it worked. And then the other thing is, a lot of times you'll have somebody that's in a horrible situation. And I'll give you a little example. I got a phone call from somebody who got referred to me. And this is not a good story, but he has a photography business. He does wedding photography, et cetera, and he rents out those little photo booths. I'm sure you've seen all the photo booths at weddings now. Well, he hired somebody for, $8 or $10 an hour to go do this wedding. And how do I put this in a PC way? The guy was not nice. And when they printed out the photos for people, it had a racial epithet on it. Not cool at all. The problem is it destroyed his business because it got picked up in national media. So this company's name, let's call it XYZ Photography, if you look it up, you'll see all these things about this horrible, racial incident. And it wasn't even his fault. It's just, this employee that screwed up his business. And he's calling me up, what can we do? How can we get these, how do we get these reviews to disappear? I was like, man, you can't afford it, because reputation management, if you're trying to suppress, this is the other side of it. If you've got something really bad that shows up on Google for your name or for your business, you have to do SEO times 10. SEO, as we've talked about before, is really expensive because you're just trying to rank one page at the top of Google. Well, the reverse of that is this kind of reputation management. And what you're trying to do is rank hidden properties above the bad one, right? Because you want to push that bad one down to page 2, where very few people go. Well, that costs 10 times as much money. It takes 10 times as much effort. It's brutal. He's like, well, what do I do? His advice, he was asking me for advice. What do I do? I said, you need to just walk away from that business name, reincorporate, start over with something else. And he was like, I can't do that. I've got all this time, money, blah, blah. I was like, yeah, man, but if somebody looks at your name online, they see these, literally things like USA Today reported it. It wasn't USA Today, but things like USA Today or the New York Times, that kind of power, you're not going to outrank it. And on top of that, you're not going to outrank it. You're not going to outrank it 10 times to push it down to page 2. Okay. I'm like, just walk away from the name, get a new website, start with a new name, and keep doing what you're doing, and let people know, your good clients know, that you've kind of restarted under this new name, because that's all you can do. Otherwise, you can't do it, man. You don't have $1 million to try to outrank New York Times. That's never going to happen. So that's kind of the overview of reputation management. It's a good service to offer. You can offer it for a few $100 a month. If you have questions, let me know. Just shoot me an email. I'll help you get that started and set up if you're interested in telling this to clients. And we are at 14 minutes. Wow, a little longer than I thought. I thought it'd be like a 10-minute one. Anyway, that is it for this episode 9, Reputation Management. If you got value from this episode and know somebody else that might get value too, please share it with them, forward it, and let them know. And I will see you next time. Thanks.
Thanks for tuning in to Midweek Marketing. Come back every Tuesday and Thursday for new episodes. And be sure to subscribe at iTunes and sign up at midweekmarketing.com to get exclusive content and tips. And check us out at facebook.com/midweekmarketing.